This is George from High Tech Legion. You know, it's actually been really nice to watch the rise of Be Quiet in the United States. After seeing them for so long in Europe, you know, as the top-selling power supply, probably I think over the last 6 or 7 years, you know, making some absolutely beautiful CPU coolers, etc. Now, in terms of power supplies, I mean, it was easy to, you know, absolutely fall in love with their power supplies, especially since they came here first with the Dark Power Pro 10, which is just an absolutely phenomenal piece and absolutely meticulous in every single detail. Now, they then followed that up with the Power Zone, and most people think that the Power Zones fell into line right under the Dark Power Pros in the Be Quiet lineup, when that actually isn't the case. The largest selling power supply from Be Quiet in Europe, and the piece that actually fits under the Dark Power Pro, is the Straight Power. It was the E9. Now, Be Quiet is introducing to the US and to the world the Straight Power 10, and today we're going to take a look at the 800 watt with cable management. Now, I did note that it was an 800 watt with cable management for a good reason. The Straight Power 10 series comes in 400 to 800 watt variations. And from 500 to 800 watts, they are available with cable management, in other words, modular cables. From 400 to 700 watts, the variety is available without the modular cables at a slightly reduced cost. Like I say, we're looking today at the 800 watt with cable management, and also it should be noted that the units internally are exactly the same, the with and without cable management. So with that, let's move on and take a quick look at the box of the Straight Power 10. As always, the Be Quiet packaging, same as we've seen. It is an 80 plus gold unit, like I say, with cable management, and uses the new Silent Wings 3 fan. Very, very interesting. And probably more important than you would think. You know, obviously, you know, company named Be Quiet is all about quiet computing, and their fans are renowned for being quiet. But one of the big things here being that the Silent Wings 3 actually can run all the way down to 200 RPM, so it makes the need for the hybrid type, you know, fan off, fan on, fanless computing absolutely needless. Reason being, at 200 RPM, you don't hear it, so there's no reason for it to be off. Also, it tops out at less than 30 dB for the unit, so I mean, you're talking, you know, lower than room ambient, so really you're looking at a phenomenally quiet unit here with the Straight Power Pro, or the Straight Power 10. Like I say, it's an 800 watt with the 135 millimeter Silent Wings 3 fan. World-class efficiency up to 93%, like I say, 80 plus gold certified. Smart cable management system, best-in-class stability for CPU and GPU, and a 5-year warranty. And moving around the back, and we're not going to belabor the all the details back here, but you do get a look on the back at the cable management system. One of the really nice things that Be Quiet does is their cable systems, and they do the 4-pin Molex as well as SATAs on the same cable, so you don't find yourself running a cable specifically just to go to a fan controller. You know, you've got both on there, so that works really well. Also, they give you good lengths. Typically, you're starting at about 550 millimeters on your peripheral cables and your PCI Express cables, where the ends are going to start, and you're going to go up a little over 600 millimeters on the power cables for the motherboard and your 4 or 8-pin CPU connection. But getting a look over here at the important stuff, 780 watts. It is 4 rails on the 12 volt. So as you take a look, you've got 20, 20, 24, and 24. 20 for your peripherals and motherboard, 20 amps for your CPU, 24 amps apiece for the 2 channels, or 2 rails I should say, that are slated specifically for the PCI Express. Total 65 amps, 780 watts, and going over, you've got 25 amps each on the 3.3 and the 5 volt. It is a DC to DC converter inside on the secondary rails, so you get much better stability and better cross-regulation on the secondary rails as well. 160 watts total, 800 watts total peak capacity. Taking a look at the Straight Power 10 itself, first thing you see, of course, is Silent Wings 3 fan. 135 millimeter, like we say. It actually uses a funnel type design going on the surround of the fan, which allows for more air movement, better intake, and as well as reduces turbulence. Uses a 6-pole motor with a fluid dynamic bearing, so very, very quiet and great control. One of the big reasons it can go down to 200 RPM without stalling. So you've got fantastic control here. You're going to get some really fantastically quiet performance out of the straight power 10. Like I say, it tops out less than, a typical room ambient, 30 dB. So really, noise is not going to be a concern. This is a big bragging point for Be Quiet, and with good reason. Now, as we move around, as you see, completely mesh on the end with the on-off switch. Very, very simple unit. Like I say, it's a straight power, and that's exactly what it is. It's straight power. Not a lot of fluff here, just solid power delivery. On top, completely black, as you see. On one side, you've got your sticker, once again going through the 4-rail configuration. Now, one thing I should say about 12-volt rail, it does use active clamp and synchronous rectifier, so you get great stability up to 800 watts. Typically, that is the combination of choice that you're going to find for that. So it actually uses IC controllers to monitor for optimal efficiency and regulation. So rather than passive type controls, so you're always getting optimal efficiency and great voltage regulation out of the unit itself. Also uses premium capacitors throughout, 105 degree rated. And one of the big things about it that Be Quiet really went into, once again going on to the quiet front, is the fact that the capacitors they chose for this do not whine under high loads or fluctuating loads. So, today's GPUs, do have a tendency, the really high power GPUs, of getting coil whine out of a lot of the power supplies. You're not going to see that with a straight power 10. Now, other side, you've got the Be Quiet logo embossed in, just all black though. And finally, onto the side, as you can see, just the motherboard cable is permanently connected, and the rest of it is modular, and your modular connections are here for the 12-volt P8, 4 drive connectors, as well as 2 PCI Express connectors. Now, like I said, there's not a lot of fluff with the straight power. It is, like I say, straight power. So, you're not going to get the fluffy stuff you get with the dark power or even with the power zone. There's no cable bag or anything like that. Your accessories are limited to the cables themselves, as well as an installation guide. Getting a look at the cables, as you can see, very similar to the Dark Power Pro cables. Black mesh sleeving. And going to the ends, you do have color with a black end. Now, looking at the PCI Express cables, they are 4 6+2s, but they do terminate with blue connectors at the GPU itself. The rest of your cables, like I say, black sleeving with colors on the ends. You've got a total of 4 pins, or 4-pin Molexes, and 11 SATA connectors, 1 floppy connector, the 4 6+2s, and the 1 4+4 for the CPU connector on the motherboard. Taking a look at the power delivery, I mean, the straight power 10 really did a really nice job. Looking at the 12-volt rail, as you can see, no problems with regulation whatsoever. Very, very solid power delivery. No real blips anywhere, across the board. Now, we're looking at one rail, and this happens to be one of the rails with a GPU, but it is very representative of the other 3 rails as well. Basically, we got identical results on all 4 rails. Moving over to the minors, I mean, they were just phenomenal here. As you can see, very, very little fluctuation, well within regulation, never dropping below the 5-volt or the 3.3-volt rating at any time, even under the heaviest load. Like I say, keep in mind that, we're running just about 800 watts, full current through this, and it's really holding up, just doing a phenomenal job. And while it's doing it, it is just about dead quiet. In terms of a total package, Be Quiet obviously set out with some specific goals in mind, and there's no question they really hit the nail on the head with the straight power 10. The 800 CM really performed miraculously during our tests. I mean, the ripple and, just power delivery was spot on, especially in the secondary rails. I mean, obviously nothing wrong with the primary. The 12 volts were absolutely fantastic across on all 4 rails. One of the other nice things, we were drawing just about 800 watts from this piece, and there was not a hint of coil whine anywhere. So that really is a big step up right there from a lot of other units you see on the market at this price point. Now, as far as features go, like I say, straight power, kind of a Spartan unit. doesn't give you the fluff of the Dark Power Pro 10, but it does have some very, very nice features in its own right. First off, you've got 6-way protection circuitry. It's 80 plus gold certified, 4 rails. It is Intel C6, C7 ready and Haswell ready as well. So, you really have everything you want there as far as features. It does have cable management. No, it is not the type, where you're going to have a plug-in motherboard connector as well, which is going to make it real easy to sleeve or whatnot. But the cables that come with it are actually going to be a lot nicer, as far as sleeving goes than, if you're trying to do it with those, plastic flat cables. If you're not, going to be sleeving, you've got some actually very nice cables to work with. They don't have, the greatest looking ends, but, you've got nice black sleeving throughout. And one of the big things about the Be Quiets is the cable layout is actually very well thought out. You really can keep you to a minimum of the amount of cables you're going to be running. With that said, I'm going to give the Straight Power Pro a High-Tech Legion Gold Award. It may go up, may go down. It's really going to depend where pricing shakes out. They're releasing it with an MSRP of $169, so it's got some very, very stiff competition there. You've got a couple other gold units, from EVGA, Cooler Master, etc. A little lower, right around that price point. That really, deliver the goods as well. So right now, with the starting price point of $169, we're going to give it a High-Tech Legion Gold Award, and very, very solid recommendation if you're looking for a unit that is going to deliver just what the name implies, straight power. Great power delivery, solid build, 5-year warranty. So really a highly recommended unit from Be Quiet.